What's up, my ninjas? I'm Strident, and today we are talking Marvel Legends. Since you probably all heard that DCUC is dead in retail and will be probably only existing online, I'm jumping back into my Marvel Legends with my 90s X-Men, but I want to talk about a little something I keep on seeing and hearing in reviews. So, a lot of people remember Toybiz Marvel Legends, and they always brought up, you know, how awesome the sculpts were, and I point out some stuff, but then another thing always pops up, and it's something they're not so awesome at, and that is their female figures. Many of these female figures, as you can see here, have the strangest kind of articulation, especially in from their waist down. It's like, what the fuck is going on with those hips and those leg joints? They're just weird, and a lot of their facial sculpts are just like, ugh. Some of them range from just like a little girl's head on a grown woman's body to freaking blow-up doll face to just zero sex appeal on characters like Black Cat, who should have some kind of sexiness to them. You know what I'm saying? It's just, I don't know, really bland in some cases. Then you have other characters like the Scarlet Witch. Wrong face. I mean, she looks like she's 12 years old on a 12-year-old body. She's supposed to be a grown woman. I mean, they usually draw the Scarlet Witch kind of voluptuous and kind of sexy because she's an adult, It's just not right. It didn't quite work. And then there's this Rogue, which is the number one offender in my case. Or in my opinion, I'm sorry. This is the reason why a lot of people say that Toy Biz sucked at making beautiful female figures. I mean, the articulation is strange. The proportions are even strange. She stands kind of manly. It just didn't work. I mean, visually, you're looking at Rogue, but the essence of the character is not there. You know what I'm saying? It's like she's wearing the costume, but she's not standing like Rogue. She's not built like Rogue. The face, and you'll see that in a second. The face doesn't even remotely channel Rogue of any time period. I mean, this face, holy shit. It's just pretty, It's just straight drag queen. And, no offense to the drag queens out there, but Rogue should not look like that. So they tried again with the Extreme X-Men Rogue. And this is an improvement. I like the face on this figure. And the body's a little bit better, but still, But people always forget this wonderful figure, though. This is the X-Men Legends Storm. I think this is the most beautiful female figure that Toy Biz ever did. Everything about her, in my opinion, is perfect. Her articulation is perfect. The material they used for her cape is perfect. She came in a black variant. So you had the 90s and the 80s version. And I think the black variant also came in a third variant with the mohawk. This, for me, I played X-Men versus Street Fighter, and this is what she looked like in that. This is what she looked like in the 90s cartoon. This is what she looked like in the majority of my 90s X-Men comics. Therefore, this was the look. This was my go-to default Storm look. You know what I'm saying? And they captured it. It's perfect. I mean, the shoulder pads, and then they gave her the extra, almost SH Figuarts-ish kind of shoulder joint, so you could still get movement, and she could still have the shoulder pads with the two X's on them. The cape being made out of a rubbery plastic type material. I mean, she was just perfect, in my opinion. Perfect. Her hair is amazing, I like this one. I would have liked the mohawk. And then there's the face sculpt. They did an awesome job making this figure actually look African, and also she actually looks pretty, a pretty black female character in toy form. I mean, she's a rarity. How many other, black female characters from Marvel have gotten a toy treatment ever? When you think about it, it's really not that many. I mean, Misty Knight has been neglected for years, and she's an awesome character with, ever since Daughters of the Dragon, she's got a nice design that would work for an action figure, and they still haven't done it. So yeah, Storm, this figure, she's awesome in more ways than one. Her arms are bigger than the average Marvel Legend female arms were. She had the cool leg sculpt and the boots and all that. This should have been the buck for all the female figures that came after her, and it wasn't, which is kind of sad because this gets so much right. So, you know, the next time you hear this argument, and believe me, I've been on YouTube for a while. I checked around YouTube, and then I saw it, and I'm like, wow. Whoever it is, you know, this reviewer doesn't know much about his Marvel Legends, or he forgot, you know, because I'm sure a lot of you guys have this figure. A lot of those reviewers have this figure, but they just forgot to, you know, think about it for a second, you know, or maybe they just don't think this is an attractive figure. She doesn't have man face. Her proportions work. They're nice and slender. And she has all the articulation that all the Marvel Legends typically have, you know? So, to me, this was their perfect female figure. I even wished that Rogue had a body like this, because Rogue is my favorite, or she's one of my favorite. My 3 favorite female X people, or females in Marvel's universe, are Storm, Rogue, and Psylocke. Psylocke is my #1 favorite. And they've done several of her. Actually, the Marvel Legends, the Psylocke from Marvel Legends actually looks pretty nice. She just has that strange articulation that makes her stand in kind of a goofy, funky-ass kind of way. But, yeah, the point of the video is just to point out, kind of showcase this figure. She's a good figure, very well done figure, very sturdy, and even her paint, the way they painted this figure, they don't do that shit anymore. I mean, it's this subtle blue wash over the white, and it's all through the figure, kind of like what they did with her in X-Men versus Street Fighter, and, you know, Marvel versus Capcom and Marvel versus Capcom 2. She kind of had a gray wash in those games, but or depending on which color you chose, but you still get the same end result, which is a nice wash that is kind of subtle. One of the problems I always had with Marvel Legends is that oftentimes they did what McFarlane would do, and they would get sloppy and just wash the shit out of your figure. You know what I'm saying? So a white figure would come out looking murky brown or murky black, and you're like, now my figure is dirty gray. And it doesn't look like a wash. It doesn't look like highlights or shadows or, you know, subtle anything. It looks like someone went nuts with the gray or black paint. My figure, I mean, you might see some splotches of gray on this figure. Some of that is dust or dirt, because she's been on my shelf for a very long time. I got this figure the day it was released, because I was waiting on that X-Men Legends line. Unfortunately, she's the only person from that X-Men Legends line that I got. KB, I got her from KB Toys, and KB had stopped selling Marvel Legends, or people picked them up. I don't know what the issue was. I just could never find them. Instead, when these figures were popping up, I started seeing DCUC figures. So I picked up the DCUC figures, actually they weren't DCUC yet, I'm sorry. It was the Batman line. So I started picking those up, you know, and I kind of made the transition from the old Marvel Legends to, you know, not getting them so much. It made it easier because I had my Batman collection, and then my Superman collection, and then my DC Superheroes collection, and then the DCUC to kind of, you know, keep me busy up until now, actually. So, yes, the prettiest Marvel Legends figure by Toybiz. It's kind of funny, though, because these days, that's one thing Hasbro is getting right. All the females look good. They did a good job. From Red She-Hulk to regular She-Hulk. Even that hoopty-ass Tigra figure she does look good. Her face is not busted. The paint apps are pretty well done. You know, her body parts look kind of right. I think the Psylocke figure looks pretty good. The face on Hope Summers, that figure is actually a good looking figure, and the face is beautiful. Jean Grey, though, on the other hand, the Jean Grey that just got released, that I'm seeing on Amazon for like $40 fucking. I'm like, you fucking scalpers have some serious audacity. Anyway, though, that figure, kind of like Shartimus Prime pointed out, they should have put the Jean head on the Moonstone body, because Jean was a little bit more fit and more curvaceous, and especially in the Jim Lee style, you know, just like you're looking at this long, slender, you know, kind of busty version of Storm. That's pretty much the way Jim Lee used to draw all his women, you know, except for Jubilee, who was flat-chested and she just had thick legs. I don't know why someone at Hasbro is not saying this when they look at the artwork and say, you know, we got to translate some of those things in the sculpt. Speaking of Hasbro and Marvel Legends, I have some warm-up sketches that I've been doing before and at work of the X-Men that I want either redone for the Marvel Legends or that I want period, you know. And I'm going to start posting those in the next few days, and we'll have a little discussion about them. And, you know, hopefully someone at Hasbro will be watching, and maybe they'll use this as an example, you know. So anyway, I'm Strident. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. You guys have been great, and I will see you all on the next video. Peace outside.